my name is Lorraine of District 32, and I have got the absolute pleasure of having another conversation with Peter Trenaman of Group Support. How are you, Peter?
I'm very well, Lorraine. Yourself?
I'm excellent, thank you.
You're looking sweet.
We always start with a wee giggle. Yeah.
Oh dear, yes. It's
Very
always
good.
so. Yeah, no, we've had an exciting week, that's for sure. But I know the weekend is coming up, and good things planned. So yes.
I guess that exciting week is on the back of a conversation about the Optus network going down and how that affects you as an IT business.
Oh yes, and people rely massively on internet and all that sort of stuff. They rely massively on their connections and their equipment, and ever more are we relying upon technology, which actually is a great segue. Thank you for that. Into the case study for this morning.
Beautiful. And I think it's such a simple thing in case study, but I'd love you to share this information because we don't know what we don't know.
Absolutely not.
So what do we need to know, Peter?
Well, housekeeping is not just a dirty word for the house. Housekeeping is also for the office. And a lot of cleaners aren't allowed into server rooms or around IT machinery, and a lot of them don't want to because of the liability there. So essentially what happens is humans bring in dust. You know, dust is part of the human world and it's part of the waste of the human world. But that forms and collects on airflow and grills from airflow into machines. And heat is the enemy of electronics. Dust is the harbour of heat, and therefore we need to do something about it. I went to a client or a prospective client on Monday, and they've got a lovely server rack and everything like that just on one corner of the office. And I opened the door of the rack, and on the grill of the server, I drew a line down the dust on the front of the machine. Okay. Now, knowing that this summer, like most summers in Australia, are going to be hot, and on the weekend they turn the air conditioning down or off, which means that the weekend is actually the most vulnerable time for a machine. Wow, because machines actually like the same temperatures that we do. Well, they actually like it a little bit cooler, but essentially the rule of thumb is if you're comfortable, then your machine's comfortable. So dust eradication and cleaning of the dust that's out off machines is an important process and a scheduled maintenance task every year, every 6 months. However dusty your machines are and your network is an important part of the plan to keep your machines up and running for as long as you can, because uptime is the key, and that's Group Support look after all the clients, and we focus on uptime because uptime means businesses make money, and it's as simple as that.
Wow. Well, you would think it's as simple as that, but how many people just think my machine's dusty, and then beyond that, you know, you're talking about a server rack.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't think about it. You might actually go past and write your initials in the dust and not think anything of it.
Nothing. And the point is that if there's dust there, then the airflow isn't flowing as fast as it needs to be, or as well as it needs to be, which means that the components aren't being cooled. So regular housekeeping, and the issue is that when you're moving dust from one place to another, like a vacuum cleaner, if the vacuum cleaner isn't good enough, then the dust just comes out the back of the vacuum cleaner, okay, and just circulates around, and sure enough, the server just sucks it back in again. Doesn't work.
Oh dear.
So generally what we do is, in those sort of situations, we bring along an air compressor, and specifically an air compressor that's got no moisture in it. We take it outside, we take the machines, we turn the machines off, disconnect them, take them outside and blow them out, blow the dust out in a place where the wind is blowing the dust away from the office. Bring them back in, connect them all up, make sure they're all working. So that outage could take an hour. Now, it's much better to plan that out and make sure that's at a point where there's IT people around, and it's a time when the traffic on your network isn't horrendous, rather than doing it Friday night or worse, Saturday, because what'll happen? You know, you'll be ringing IT, and that's expensive. You know, after hours emergency calls. The way to save money with IT is to plan things out and do them strategically. Sorry, new teeth. Do them strategically, and put maintenance in place so that you do it regularly. And that's the way to save money, and that's the way to keep the best of your machinery operating at the best of its performance levels.
But thanks for that, Peter. I just think it brings us back to, I spoke to you last month around managed services. Yeah. And the beauty of having that is you don't need to know what you don't know. You're going to look after all that for us. It's not just the complex problems and the user access and the security and the management of the systems, the processes, the backups. It's the physical stuff, right? So having that retainer, where you're looked after, you're taken care of, you just don't need to worry about.
And sometimes part of my job is to go and do a loop of the office physically, because what my practiced eye will see are things that you guys, the rest of the population, won't see as far as IT goes. Things that need a warning or need to be looked at, or are an issue where something's impending or at risk. And that way, then we can schedule things in, have a discussion, work out what we need to do, and move forward from there. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Peter Trenaman, thank you very much again for letting us know what we don't know.
No problem at all, Lorraine. Thank you very much.
Peter, thank you very much. I'll speak to you again soon.
Absolutely.
Bye.